planned pregnancy turned my husband into a monster. It feels like a cruel, cruel joke. Years before I met my husband, I was in such a toxic, abusive relationship that it almost ended my life. I spent years in therapy, bettering myself, figuring out why I accepted that type of love. I stayed single for years, and once I started dating, I made sure to keep an eye out on all red flags. Heck, I even took things slowly when there was nothing but green flags. Thanks to my ex, I was familiar with love bombing. I met my husband at work event, and things just fell into place. I opened up and explained my past trauma, and let him know that if we were going to date, that it would require a slow pace and patience. I won't say that he was perfect, but he was always kind, compassionate, and cared. We dated for about 5 years, engaged for 1, and married for a little over 3 years now. We recently bought our second home together. We both got promotions at work, so we sat down and talked about kids. He wanted a big family, and I only wanted 1 or 2. We agreed on 2, and started trying. It didn't take long, and here I am, 6 months pregnant, still working, have swollen ankles, and a back that won't stop aching. Other than that, I've been very happy and have what I thought was a supportive husband. 3 weeks ago, I found out that he was having an emotional affair, and honestly, probably a physical one. When confronted with the evidence, he admitted to not being attracted to me while pregnant. I'm wrecked. I haven't gained unnecessary weight. I still take care of myself, even with the morning sickness that hasn't gone away. He's not sorry about it, but he told me that I was being overdramatic when I cried. He is staying with his family until he can find a home to rent. He doesn't want to get a divorce. He's saying after the pregnancy is over, we can go to therapy and fix things. I don't want to. I cannot physically look this man in the eye anymore without feeling disgust. I have a text from him saying that he's my only option because no man wants to date a single mom. I'll be talking to a lawyer and figuring out how to divorce him. I just wanted to vent into the void today. For now, I'm going to DoorDash some nuggets and a Frosty from Wendy's and be okay if I gain 5 pounds from it. Thanks for listening. Well, reading, I suppose. Update. I was told I'm not allowed to change the locks due to it being his home as well, and he came over last night knowing there wasn't crap I could do to prevent it. Thankfully, he only grabbed some personal belongings, threatened to take the dogs, he did not, and let me know he emptied our shared account. Part of me rolled my eyes and figured he wasn't dumb enough to do that, and the other part made me make a mental note to check it once he left. Sure enough, our account has maybe $5 in it. He did a transfer, which I'll be calling the bank about and speaking to an attorney this afternoon. Thankfully, my dad taught me you don't fully mix finances, so my savings wasn't capable of being touched, and while it's not a lot, it's enough to pay for the fees over the next few weeks. I don't have any family left, so I think he's doing a power play to make me feel like I'm alone and need him, when in all reality, it's lit a fire under my butt that I don't want or need such a garbage person in my life. Thank you to everyone that's reached out with comments, kind messages, and helpful advice. Update. I wanted to do an update with how many people took the time to send messages, leave comments, and share their own personal stories, which especially helped make me not feel so alone. As mentioned previously, I was not allowed to change the locks on our house due to both of our names being on it. I never feared for my safety, it was more so an annoyance. He showed up to grab some personal belongings, and I thought that what be the most that would happen. It was like he was trying to get a reaction from me. He told me he transferred funds and emptied out the account. I didn't believe him until I saw it myself. That was both of our money, so that's being dealt with currently. He showed up the day before yesterday, completely drunk, begging to talk, increasing in anger when I would just ignore him and walk away. It kept increasing, so I went to grab my bag and walked down the road to a neighbor's home so I wasn't alone. He grabbed my arm to stop me, and when I yanked it away, he slapped me, almost a backhanded open slap. The cops were called. I didn't have a mark on my face, so it was a my word versus his. They escorted him off the property, and I'm only now assuming he's back with his parents. He did throw a fit about the dogs and does have proof of ownership, so I'm guessing he'll be able to take them. Went to leave to go for a drive to clear my head after everything and realized 3 of my 4 tires were flat. I know it was him, but I don't have proof. Insurance won't cover it, so going to a tire shop on Friday morning, just another drop in the bucket. As for the attorney, I've had my consult, and I'm waiting for my check to come in for my actual appointment and getting the ball moving on this. There's not any family left, and a few close friends are kept in the loop, but I don't want to burden them or treat them like unpaid therapists. So I think that's why I came back to Reddit. Something therapeutic about just typing it all out into the void. The baby pregnancy is okay. I've actually lost weight, and the doctor has told me to avoid stressful situations and to take things easy. I'll be calling to see if I can change the locks on the home now, and if not, I'm going to start looking for places. Update: he broke in late last night. I was able to contact the police before I confronted him, but due to location, I knew it would be a bit. I tried walking by him to leave the house, but every time I would, he'd shove me, once hard enough to make me stumble and fall backwards. The eerie part is, he never once yelled through things. One of the items hit me, causing an emergency room visit requiring stitches. Said the most vile things. He hated me, I should kill myself, how useless I was, etc. Yet never once raised his voice. I'm not saying that in a good way. I wish he would have yelled. It was a fight or flight instinct, and I found out mine was to freeze. I hate that for myself. He was arrested, and his mother already bailed him out. I'm staying at a hotel thanks to a work advance and looking into apartments. I won't be stepping a foot into that home we shared until my best friend is here, and even then it will be with police being with us. Nobody can figure out what made him change almost overnight. Only thing I'm guessing is a psychotic break, but I'm not a therapist or doctor. Besides some ugly bruises and some stitches, myself and the baby are fine. My lawyer feels like this is enough to get a protection order for myself and will include the pregnancy, baby. Next time I see him, we'll be at court. Sorry I'm rambling, and maybe this doesn't make any sense. For now, I'm safe, can sleep good for the first time in weeks. I have the dogs. Nobody is aware of where I am besides one close person and the police. I changed my locks, figured if he'd get the law involved, I'd use pregnancy brain and being forgetful to give him a spare set. Update: police met me at my home to grab some personal belongings and pretty much anything and everything else I could grab. Thanks to the user who recommended me calling the non-emergency number. It was smooth sailing. He wasn't home. I didn't have the fear of him showing up, and both officers were very kind. What I walked into, on the other hand, was not very fun. This man looked like he went on a bender. Bleach on clothes, food everywhere, personal belongings just destroyed, especially the nursery. I was able to salvage a lot of the bigger items and packed what I could. They're now in storage until I move into my place. Took pictures. And as aggravating as it was, especially with the one step forward, two steps back, I'm hopeful that there'll just be another thing used against him to prevent custody. As far as him, he has no way of contacting other than attorney or email, and it's been quiet on both ends. His parents have not reached out. I don't even know what I'd say to them if they tried, so no loss there. His girlfriend, yes, girlfriend as I found out, has been trying to contact me via friends to let me know she's pregnant. I'm unsure if that's true or not, but that in the very least confirms the affair and how well he kept things hidden. I do want to clear the air. I made a post asking for helpful information on resources that could potentially help, and someone made a comment saying I was in it for a long con, and that's just untrue. I have not and will not accept any personal items donations other than advice and maybe an internet hug. Editor's note: OOP deleted the post she is referencing. See comment below. While I wish my story was made up, it is not. Maybe it's a venting board. Maybe it's just connecting with people that have been in the same situation, but it helps keep me sane. Anyway, I'll leave it at. Thank you all for listening and checking up on me. I'm safe. I'm good. Pregnancy is the only thing kicking my ass, and I'll make sure to make a post in a few months, letting y'all know she's here and that we made it. Bye for now. Update: I've read every single message and the majority of the comments. Thank you for sharing your experiences, your advice, your love. More than a few have offered baby items, groceries, and gift cards. I cannot in goodwill accept any of those, but if you have items laying around, please consider donating them to a charity that helps homeless parents. One thing that stuck out is someone asked how I could feel sorry for him. I guess I'm an empathic person, to the point where it could be a flaw. I wish if he was so unhappy, he would have just told me. We could have fixed it before it became violent, and if it wasn't fixable, we could have both been amazing parents. His girlfriend that reached out wrote an email in which was forwarded to me. She's saying she's pregnant, and for her sake, I hope she's not. She's accusing me of ruining a good man's reputation. She called the injuries self-inflicted and how they want a paternity test. My personal favorite was if my baby is actually his, she hopes her baby can grow up with her and have a sister. Little does she know, I will go to hell and back to make sure that man does not know anything about my daughter. As for him, I've seen him once while leaving the grocery store. Outside me was calm, cool, collected, acted like he was a stranger I wouldn't give a second look at. On the inside, I said, "Oh shit," about 500 times and cried in the car. Money situation is fixed, work bonus and promotion. I've bought a new and better living room suite and having a painting party at the end of the month. You're all invited. Still good, still safe, slowly learning to love my new normal. If you're in a similar situation or in an abusive relationship, man or woman, reach out. You're not alone. You don't need to be brave. I'm certainly not. You just need that "I can't do this anymore" to light that fire. Update. Hi, it's been a while since I've posted. Last time I posted, I had swollen ankles, waddled, thought every little cramp was a contraction, and felt like life was falling apart. I want to thank everyone who reached out even months after the fact, just to check in on a stranger. My daughter is here. For privacy, I'm going to leave out her daub, but she was 6 pounds, 2 ounces, and the most beautiful head of hair I've seen. She's now got the hairstyle of Danny DeVito. My original posts are still up, in case anyway is looking at this with puzzlement. But to say things have been rough would be an understatement. He showed up to the hospital. Thankfully, everyone was aware, and hospital staff handled it properly and perfectly, and I was able to focus on labor and delivery. Unfortunately, the stress of that alone took an already hectic moment in time and amped it up, but things could have been so much worse, and I'm highly thankful they were not. Right now, I've got about 10 different CPS calls. They've came to my house on 4 occasions. His family and him have filed for an emergency custody hearing, and due to leaving the state with my daughter, that did give him a foot in the door. It seems the protective order isn't really helping in that matter. I am still on maternity leave, so thankfully my focus has fully been on my daughter and collecting all the evidence to make sure he doesn't get any custody other than possibly supervised visits for an hour. My main concern is if he doesn't get any custody, that his parents may do the grandparent route. I wish it was an update to say I'm kicking motherhood's ass and taking names, but most of the time I feel like a burnt-out blob. I am in therapy, and the doctors are keeping an eye on postpartum depression, yet my doctor thinks a giant hemorrhoid, X, is the cause instead. Don't have an update on the girlfriend of his, have kept the dogs. I think they love the little one just as much as I do. I'm excited and anxious to see where the next chapter of life will take me. Update. Well, honestly, she's been here for a bit, but still a noob at life. She was born with a head full of black hair, 6 pounds 2 ounces, and was alert from the very start. I made an update on True of my chest, but making a small one here, just in case it gets taken down. CPS has been called numerous times and came out for a few visits. Everything from I was living in filth to I was leaving the baby home alone to that I was addicted to meth has been said and investigated and proved wrong. I did leave the state, and that got his foot in the door for an emergency custody battle which will be coming up soon. The protective order was a joke and has been unhelpful. The man showed up to the hospital while I was in labor, but thankfully, the hospital staff handled it perfectly. The cops, not so much, but didn't expect it. I think his parents are the biggest push in the custody thing, but I don't think he'll get granted more than a few supervised visits. My main concern is if that happens, his grandparents going after grandparent rights. To protect their reputation, it's highly likely they will. Unfortunately, I don't have an update on his girlfriend. But I did keep the dogs aka the gruesome twosome, and I think they love the little one just as much as I do. Thank you all for still caring and checking in months later. It means more than I can say.